I always tell clients, I'm like, please go get other proposals, whether it's from a price perspective or a service perspective or a partnership perspective, like see what else is out there. And if you don't connect with your it's because it is a partnership. Like I said, it's a business within a business. And if you're not willing to commit to a partnership with your marketing team, it will fail, right? Because it does require you to be a part of it.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Exact Digital Podcast, where we explore the minds behind impactful brands and strategies. Today, I'm joined by Q Moldrik, founder and CEO of Legacy Digital, a Charleston-based women-owned digital marketing agency. Q's journey from launching a vegan meal prep company to building a six-figure agency in under 6 months showcases her entrepreneurial spirit and deep understanding of the digital landscape. In this episode, we'll discuss the power of building a personal brand and maintaining an online presence, the impending $84 trillion wealth transfer to millennials and Gen Z, and strategies for businesses to adapt and thrive in this evolving market. Q, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Kenzie.
Yeah, of course. I don't know if she wants me to tell you guys this, but in the beginning, I asked her what Q stands for, and she has a cute little story. Could you tell everybody?
Yeah, this is not a secret. I feel like you get a hat or a shirt that says it because I get it asked multiple times a day. But Q, just the letter Q is my nickname. It's not my government name. My real name is Susan, and a nickname for Susan is Susie Q, and Q just stuck. So now people call me Q, and it works. No one forgets my name. It's great.
That's so cute. Yeah, I've never forgotten it from the moment we met.
Yep. It sticks around. It's one of those that just sticks, you'll remember it. So
Absolutely.
definitely helps in my role for sure.
Sticks out a little bit more than Susan.
That's right. Yeah, Susan is my grandmother's name. That's what I was named after her. So I'm like, I'm gonna let her have that.
That's cute. I love that.
Yeah.
So you've emphasized the importance of personal branding. How has your personal brand influenced the growth of Legacy Digital?
Great question. And when I was thinking about this, it's such an issue of I don't practice what I preach because I'm so focused working on my business right now. But I will say, even with not putting that much effort into my personal brand, I have a personal brand. People know me for certain aspects of my life because of what I do share on social media. Now, I say I don't practice what I preach because I'm not in the system that our team is working on with our clients. If I put my personal brand out there, I think that we definitely would be able to scale a little bit faster. So actually, as of like 30 to 45 days ago, I am working very slowly with one of our digital managers to start pumping out more content consistently. I'm always putting out content. I'm always sharing everything from the business side to the personal side and everything in between. There's just not as much of a strategy behind it, like what we would do with our normal clients. But the power of it is so important because what my role in the business as CEO is to create revenue generating opportunities. And that means I cannot be involved in the day-to-day nuances of operations. I have to be out of the office, getting on podcasts, getting on stages, going to networking events and connecting with, potential partners, new employees, new clients, anything that could bring value to our company. And sometimes, I'm doing this 5 to 6 times a week, going out of the office and going to some sort of big meeting or on some sort of stage or podcast or networking event. And it's a lot. It's like drinking from a fire hose, and it's difficult to stay in touch with people, and it's difficult to connect with people in that short amount of time. So that's where social media really bridges the gap between that in-person connection and hopefully that conversion long-term or that opportunity that comes later. So going on social media, my personal brand is a balance of what I do at work. So if you go on my page, it does not look aesthetic. I will say our clients have a huge aesthetics focus. We do believe that is important in a brand. But you'll see that I obviously do something, right? If you don't know who I am or what I do, you know that I'm involved in some sort of business if you go onto my social media page. So once you dive into it, you'll see I talk a lot about the importance, like what we're talking about today, the importance of a personal brand, the importance of having a digital presence in the world that we live in now, and how to get started. But I also share a lot of the personal side. So people confuse personal brands with it just being a brand about you and your business. But what creates the connection with your followers is not what you're selling them, it's the value that you're providing them. And the value generally is through storytelling and through, personal experiences and through a reasonable vulnerability, right? I'm not somebody that's going to get on social media and start crying and talking about something that happened, but some people do that and some followers relate to that. But I do share personal sides of my life to show that I'm a real person, right? So that could be something as simple as, I'm a big family person. I come from a big family. You go on my social media, you're going to see tons of content in my massive, chaotic family. You're going to go into my stories, you're going to see little bloopers of the behind the scenes of the chaos of how I was raised and, different characters in my family. Health and wellness is a huge component of my life, which I would consider a part of my brand. So you're going to see videos of me working out, cold plunging, sauning, meal prepping. My husband's in the health and wellness industry, so we do a lot, of those different types of activities together. You'll see my dogs. I have I have two bulldogs and a cane corso. They are a huge part of my life. And in most cases, I get connections because of the personal side of things, right? People see, oh my gosh, I have bulldogs, or oh my gosh, I just bought a cold plunge, or I'm thinking about it. And then you start building these connections that wouldn't have happened organically. So that's the power of a personal brand. From a business side, it's creating that permanent connection through a follow where someone could follow your lifestyle and you could stay top of mind versus being forgotten at that event where you met them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And for years and years and years, it's been very business facing. Every CEO, founder, entrepreneur has wanted to stay buttoned up, and that's just how the world was. But now people are wanting to see the raw footage of who you actually are to get past that facade. Because at this point, people know that everyone has their own struggles. After COVID, everybody was locked in home at their house. We were all humbled a little bit. So it's really grown that want and desire for real connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We work with a lot of real estate investors, and that situation is exactly how it happens. They go to these big masterminds and they meet thousands of people through networking events, and then they leave and don't see each other again until the next networking event. And usually those events are about 3 months apart. And what happens in 3 months with real estate investors or within 3 months is insane. Like they could be picking up a lot of deals, they could run into a lot of problems, they could, make a lot of different partnerships, but it's important that these real estate investors are sharing this content from event to event. So next time they run into somebody that they ran into at the last event, they're filled in on everything. They know what deals they're running. They know what problems they ran into. They know how they solved them. And they're like, hey man, I actually see that new deal, the mobile home park that you're investing into Florida. And I heard you're raising money on your social media page. I actually have cash to deploy. And I've been following you for the last 3 months and I love what you're doing and I trust you. Here's this money. And that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for those mutual connections and that consistent content being posted. And that's how a lot of our real estate investors find the value in social media, is through creating those connections and then being vulnerable online and then seeing each other again. And they're like, hey, you seem like somebody I'd want to partner with because I saw that deal went south and I saw how you handled it. And that's a partner that I want to have in my corner.
Absolutely. It's an authentic way to follow up rather than just doing it on an email of like, hey, I'm following up. It's
Yeah.
them seeing your traction and things that you're doing and reminding them about who you are. Oh, wait, I talked to this person. We discussed this. And I just ran into that problem the other day. And then the ball is now in kind of in your court because they're coming to you at this point. So
Yep.
it's an authentic way to just keep top of mind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, with an estimated $84 trillion set to transfer to younger generations, how should businesses prepare for this shift in purchasing power?
Yeah, it's an obsession that I've had for since I started this business. First of all, I work with Gen Zers, right? I'm a millennial, and my team are, they range from 23 to 27 years old right now, and I'm with them all the time. I'm with them more than I'm with my husband, right? It's like those are your workmates, and I just am constantly listening to them and how they make decisions and how they research and why they buy something and how they perceive something online, and it's a totally different mindset, right? And even me as a millennial communicating to my, Gen X parents or my baby boomer grandparents, they look at that the same way. They're like, you guys are like aliens, right? Like, how does this even work? But at the end of the day, baby boomers are going out, Gen Xers are going out, millennials are taking over, Gen Z is coming in hot, right? And how they are not making this. I could go to you and be like, hey, Kenzie, you should try this restaurant. Naturally, naturally, you're going to go online and you're going to research it. You're going to go check out their social media page and see if it's an ambiance that you want to experience. So it's where all the purchasing power is held right now, is online. And if you don't have it, like to answer your question, what can people do? It's so simple. Get online, right? Like if you're a small mom and pop or you're a business that has been thriving off word of mouth for the last few generations, it's time to make a shift in the way that you think. And it's time to create a marketing budget for your company, because you are going to be left in the dust in the next couple of years if you aren't already, right? It's something that you might start to see, that your word of mouth is decreasing and your competitors that you didn't think you were competitors are coming in hot and now taking over. Guarantee you it's because they have a marketing budget. So, um, you know, this is baseline. You need to have a Google business profile. You need to be on Apple Maps. You need to have a website, right? You need to have good reviews. That's how people traditionally make baseline credible decisions, right? Just having a digital presence. They're not going to choose you if you don't have anything available. They're not going to be able to find you if you're not searchable. So that's the best piece of advice I could give, is make a marketing budget for yourself. Hire a local team. I'm big on local. We have nationwide clients and we do really, really well with them, but our local clients, really, really get a catered service that we're able to have that feet on the ground approach. And Charleston is such like a small business driven community, and we want to make our clients in Charleston really stand out in comparison to their competitors in this area, because we're really dialed into it because we live here. So my biggest piece of advice is, if you're not doing marketing or you've been thinking about it, or maybe you like build a website but you there may be some other components that you need to add into your marketing budget, sit down with some local businesses that have good tenure, good experience, and ask them what gaps are missing in your current marketing structure and what they could do to fill them. If it's simply put, like, this just the way that these new generations are wired, is to make decisions online.
Absolutely. And a great example would be Netflix. My boyfriend and I were watching a show the other day, and we were discussing how majority of Gen Z now only watches YouTube videos. And
Mm-hmm.
even younger than that, Gen Alpha, I think,
Yeah.
they are watching YouTube videos or short form videos. And within the next couple of days after we had this conversation, because we were saying, oh, is this going to be like where our grandchildren are calling us old heads for watching movies and TV?
Yeah. Netflix is
Literally,
gonna be the new Blockbuster.
yes,
Yeah. If you know
it's
what that is.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, love Blockbuster.
Yes.
And literally within a matter of days, we saw on Netflix that they had added short form content.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's how you stay.
Staying on top of it, right? So it's like, even us in tech, it's one of my jobs, and Abby, my COO's job, is to consistently be looking into new tech stacks to evolve our systems and our functionality, and making sure we're keeping up with the cadence that other agencies are and staying ahead of the game. And it's a lot of work, and it's not something as a business owner that you could do on your own. You need to outsource, you need to hire it in-house, because it's not like what it used to be 10 years ago, like, oh, let's just hop on, or 20 years ago, MySpace, and post something, right? This is truly a business within your business, and it's something that requires expertise, strategy, and, a lot of touch points to make sure it's done the right way. So yeah, I agree. Like concepts that Netflix, that's a perfect example, are, if they don't keep up with the Joneses when it comes to AI and what their audience is looking for, they're going to easily be taken out by some other big conglomerate.
Absolutely.
I'm on a family plan, so I have all my like brothers and sisters on there, and like what they suggest to me, I'm like, I wouldn't watch this, or I'll watch it like, oh, this is all the suggested videos based off of what I've been watching. I'm like, this is not on point. So then I don't trust it anymore. So I do agree with you. They might have a functionality like that, but it's like, is it really dialed into like what I like? Because then once I go and watch 2 or 3 shows or movies and they're like terrible, I'm like, why was this suggested? I'm not going to trust that functionality. So bringing in tech that like provides really good, like I said, expertise, not just something that like says it does it, but it really doesn't do it that great, is important to make sure to prioritize.
So, Legacy Digital has seen rapid growth since its inception. What strategies have been most effective in scaling your agency?
Yeah, great question. I get asked this question all the time. Now, I think it's important for people to know it hasn't been easy. Just because we had rapid growth doesn't mean that it has been a walk in the park. It's actually been quite the opposite. But I would say the biggest tools that I had to get us where we are now, and my team to get us where we are right now, is coaches and mentors. I started day one with coaches and mentors. So my business partner is a big real estate investor, and he has a board of directors that include lawyers and operations and HR, really anything at my disposal that I needed. So I was very blessed to have that access immediately. Not a lot of people do have it, but what that did was allow me to ask all the questions and get the right answer the first time. As entrepreneurs, no matter what industry you're in, you're completely bamboozled with choices that you have to make, and all the pressure lies on you. And not often do you open that right door the first time, and you experience so much more failure than you do success, and that's truly entrepreneurship. So having somebody who has done this before, who whether it's from the HR component and scaling your team and implementing SOPs and process, to an agency coach that could really help you create the structure and service model that you need within your business, to lawyers where you could just be like, okay, I don't know how to build a contract. I don't know what I need to be doing for my employee agreements or partnership agreements. It's just worth it having those people available to you in some capacity. And from a cost perspective, like it sounds super expensive, but looking at it from the flip side, like how expensive are your failures, right? And your failures not only expensive, they're super time consuming. So I know that, I brought an HR consultant in the beginning and I had to pay for them, right? And there was a lot of money out of pocket. There was monthly money out of pocket. But guess what? Like I had a solid team built from, day one, and I had all the structure and org charts and SMART and KPIs and reviews and everything that I needed that I would have never known if I didn't have him, and he's somebody I still keep on as a consultant, even though my business is very structured, because there's always a nugget that I could take away. My big rule of thumb is if I could take one nugget and apply it to my business and it creates opportunity, it's worth it. So I would say that mentorship and coaches have been not a way to get us through every single problem, right? Because we have experienced problems, but I would say if I didn't have those, I would not be where I am today, let alone even be here, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the smartest and most successful people are the people that are willing to take a step back and say, okay, I don't know this, so I want to learn from you. Or I have made this mistake. What can I learn from this mistake? Rather than saying, well, I know everything. I'm going to do what I want to do.
That's one thing that like I've been told. I might be, we talked about it. I'm 6'2". I'm very intimidating. People think I might be like a bitch and very unapproachable, and standoffish, but I'm literally quite the opposite. I am so coachable. If somebody tells me to do something, I will put my head down and I'll get it done. And I think that there's power in that. So yes, having a mentor, but actually taking what your mentor says and doing it, and then doing it and keeping your team accountable for it. It's not just a one conversation that you have that solves all your problems. It requires work. It requires them saying, hey, this is a huge, you know, barrier that you're going to have to climb, and this is what you need to do. So I'll go in and I'll implement something, or my team will implement it, but they have to stay accountable for it. We have to keep checking in and make sure it's being followed. And, it's not, like I said, it's not a walk in the park. It's something that requires, getting the right coach, and then having the right mindset to let that ego go and take advice from the experts and implement it, and then keep your team accountable for it. So that's where I would say our growth came from. It's not just mentors, it's the application of what the mentor is providing us.
Absolutely. And clients are much more likely to want to work with somebody that steps up and says, okay, that was my bad, versus somebody that always shows imperfection and says, like, oh, like we're the best of the best. You'll never find anybody like us.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, no. No. We have a very you have difficult clients who sometimes are wrong, and it's just like banging your head against one. You have sometimes where you have to take ownership, but we have a very much so like the customer is always right attitude, and it seems old school, but they're paying us a lot of money, and if they feel that they're not being provided for, then we have to pivot and change things. It might be out of the scope of work. It might, not align with the plan that we had, or the structure of our business. But our clients come to us because they're looking to grow their business. We're not just like a subscription model that you sign up for. We're very white glove. We are very customized, and we really take pride in taking care of our clients. So if they're unhappy, then we're going to do whatever we need to do to make them happy.
Absolutely. So how do you tailor? What was that?
I said whether they're right or wrong.
Whether they're right or wrong. You can just sit back and be like, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So how do you tailor your services to meet the unique needs of the clients in different industries?
Yeah, great question. I have changed my sales model up a lot. And in the beginning, it was very standardized, like, hey, you come on, this is what you get. And what I learned over time that, in the beginning, when a brand comes on and we're building it, we could have the same process. But as the brand grows, everything changes, right? So I originally was selling these set services with set deliverables. And then after 6 months, we were like, wait, this isn't performing well anymore. We have to pivot this. We have to change this. So we have what we call an adjusted services model, and it's still evolving. So when I first started, it was like, hey, here's our set rates, here's our set services and the deliverables that come with it. And then I evolved it into a digital evolution plan. So this was about in year 2, I'd say, of our business, where I put together a proposal, and they tell me what they're looking for, and I, put together what I think based off my expertise. I talk to my team, what would be a good rollout for our services for them. And I would put it into a timeline so they could look at it like, first of all, prospectively, this isn't an overnight process. This takes a lot of time. So that way, setting the tone in the beginning, like you're not going to get a return on investment in 30 days. You have to put time into this. It's not something that, it's going to happen. There's no immediate gratification. Sometimes we have big wins. Sometimes like there are, brands after 30, 45 days, they pop off. But in most cases, it takes time, right? SEO takes time. Organic social media takes time. Building an email list takes time. Getting your ads out and warming them up, it takes time. So it's really setting that stage in the beginning, and making sure that the client understands that component of it. And then we start to evolve it from there. So for example, I believe that our clients always need to have some sort of brand review with us. Now, some clients come to us and they're like, we have an idea, right? And so we have to build the brand for them, which allows us to learn the brand. We have clients who come to us who have a solid brand. They just want somebody else to manage their marketing services, but we still go through the branding process, a little bit more expedited, but that way our team still has a pulse on it because we're the ones communicating it. And then we have brands who come in that they just need a facelift or a rebrand. Again, we still need to understand the why behind their brand. So that's like, we're doing that for everyone. I don't care who you are. We're going to know your brand. Even if you're building a website, right? We want to understand what the feeling of your brand is and what we're trying to communicate. And then from there, we evolve. So I have a diagnostic sales approach where basically I go in and we look at the layers of your brand. Like we talked about before this call, I want to make sure you have a Google business profile. I want to make sure you have Apple Map. You're on Apple Maps. You have a website, and you're getting good reviews. That's just the baseline credibility test that everybody should have, right? But if you don't have that, I'm not going to do social media. I'm not going to do paid ads. I'm not going to do all these extra unnecessary services. Yes, they might help, but then your lead might go back to your website, and your website looks like it was made in the 1980s, right? So, we just want to make sure that the client journey, the customer journey is really, really seamless from bottom to top. So that's the way I look at it now. We have a diagnostic approach where we take it one level at a time. And from there, I put together a year at a glance, what the service rollout ideally would look like. And I'm very clear with them, like, this is so hypothetical. Your brand, again, might pop off in the first quarter and we could start implementing these services a lot faster, or it might take a little bit more time and we might have to push out a service, until quarter three. So it's all about transparency in the sales process. That's a huge component for me, for our clients, to understand that this is a partnership and it takes time. And, it's something that it's not one size fits all. Right. And even the plan we might put together might change in 6 months, depending on what happens with your brand. You have no idea. We have one client now who just started with us, and she's a thought leader in the insurance space, and she just got picked up on a TV show to do a documentary. So we're like, all right, we got to pivot everything. She was going to roll out some books and master classes, which I think, knowing her, she's going to do all of it at the same time. She's a badass. But, we're like, okay, we have to pick up this campaign. We have to change the narrative. We have to change the storyline. And this could really catapult her a lot faster than we anticipated. So we need to make sure we have everything locked and loaded. So when this TV show goes live, all her digital platforms are spot on, right? Because we want to make sure she sells books and online masterclasses and coaching. We want to make sure when people go to her pages, she looks as legit as she does on TV.
Absolutely. That's like trying to cook a meal with only a couple of ingredients, and throughout the cooking process, you have to go to the grocery store multiple different times.
That's a great parallel. Great parallel. I'm going to use that one.
You go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't, continue the recipe without the butter,
Oh my gosh, nothing is good without butter.
Garlic and butter. If I don't have those, I'm not cooking.
That's my base for
Yes,
everything.
little
Yes.
miracle. Yes.
And you mentioned something about setting those expectations and not making too many promises. For those who are listening, if you come across an agency that is promising you the world and that they're going to give you so many leads within the first couple of weeks, you should probably think about that a little deeper. I would run, but you could take your time and process it and see what you think.
Yeah. And like, I always tell clients, I'm like, please go get other proposals, whether it's from a price perspective or a service perspective or a partnership perspective, like, see what else is out there. And if you don't connect with your it's because it is a partnership. Like I said, it's a business within a business. And if you're not willing to commit to a partnership with your marketing team, it will fail, right? Because it does require you to be a part of it. But yeah, it's something that we love doing, and our systems are super customized, and that was a hard pill for me to swallow. I was like, I'm building this turn and burn business where it's like, this is what you get. You put money in, you get the same thing out. And I'm like, that is quite honestly, literally opposite of what we do right now. But the beauty is it works, right? And we could get on and we could pivot and we could make very, very professional decisions based off of our expertise and what we know to adjust our clients' services as their brand evolves, versus it being like, this is what you get,
Absolutely, for sure. As Ross would say, pivot,
Yes.
pivot. So what trends do you foresee in digital marketing over the next few years?
Yeah. So, you know what? I always get asked this, and I'm not in the operational component of, posting on social media. But what I can say from my role in the business and what I think people need to jump on if they're not on it already, and as cliche as this sounds, is AI. Like, I hear people say, yeah, but we want to really promote the human side. Yes, 100%. We want to make sure that's a priority. You still need to get on AI, right? Like, it's every single time I go to an AI conference, I get on an AI webinar, I am so like, oh my God, we're so behind, right? We're going to get left in the dust if we don't get on these right now. It stresses my team out, but it allows us to bring just stay one step ahead. So I would definitely say any type of AI functionality, whether it's internal and create, hedging out lower level jobs, so you don't have to like have a VA to do something. You could have this program you're paying $20 a month for, or it's some sort of tool that brings your editing up to a higher level, or allows us to create something that we couldn't have created before in a much smaller time. So I wouldn't say this is a trend. This is like common knowledge right now, but I do want to reiterate it. Like I can't sit here and say, oh, the next trending reel is going to be this. That's what my team's for. They have a great pulse on that. They know what TikTok's algorithm is looking like, and they are constantly studying it. Same with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. That's definitely their realm. But for me, my big focus is, as I'm growing this agency and implementing new services, my number one priority is getting a tech stack in there that is AI oriented.
Absolutely. So, would you say that that's how Legacy Digital is positioning itself to stay ahead in this ever evolving digital landscape?
Okay. So most people in agencies, especially girls that we've hired recently that come from an agency background, have like 10 to 15 clients, which is mind blowing for me, from social media, just from social media. Our girls are completely maxed out at their bandwidth at 5 to 6 clients. And when I built this business, through this specific one 3 years ago, I was like, all right, each girl's going to get, or employee's going to get 10 clients. And I just threw that number out there. And then you start to think about quality of work and retention with your clients and sustainability for the brand, and having, somebody come on and creatively having to pivot from a restaurant to a tax strategist to e-commerce business all throughout the day. Impossible, right? You're not going to get a good service. You're going to get turn and burn deliverables. So I think what sets us apart, culture, number one. I'll say that through and through. You go ask my girls in there why we're different. It's culture. When we put a job listing out, we have hundreds and hundreds of applicants that apply within 24 hours because people want to work for this type of company. But also, like I said, the component of, we prioritize our team's bandwidth so that our clients have a great experience. So they're more double down on their brand versus 20 brands, 15 to 20 brands.
Oh, that's amazing. Go
Yeah.
bring one out. Let's see. Let's see what
One
she
of the
says.
girls,
I'm just kidding. You don't have to do
I could
that.
call
I'm
when they come.
joking. It's okay. They'd probably be like, hello?
They would hate it. They would be so mad at me.
Well, Q, this has been such an insightful and great conversation. Your journey with Legacy Digital is really inspiring, and your perspective on personal branding and strategy is really valuable and such a guidance for businesses navigating in the digital age. For those of you who are listening and are interested in learning more about Q and Legacy Digital, visit legacydigital.com. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. And don't forget to like and subscribe.